Today, let's head back 2,500 years in the past, to some of the earliest coins. I know you guys like ancients, and as far as ancients go, you can go much further back than that. Maybe an extra 100 years or so for the very first coins, tops. With its beautiful pale yellow color, its globular, rough shape, and its mysterious imagery, today we'll explore one of the first international trade coins, decipher its features, and learn a bit about early numismatic history. Let's meet the Hekte. The Hekte was part of one of the first monetary standards of the Western world. The Kingdom of Lydia instituted a standard coin called a stater, which had an enormous purchasing power, around a month's salary for a foot soldier. So they had to come up with smaller and smaller fractions to make anything other than major transactions feasible. Today, we'll look at two types of fractionals: a sixth of a stater, the Hekte, and also a hemi-Hekte, a twelfth of a stater. The Hekte is typically 11 millimeters wide, while the hemi-Hekte sits around 9 millimeters, one weighing around 2.6 grams and the other 1.3. Minuscule coins, but we're still talking about a significant purchasing power, around 5 and 2.5 days' wages respectively. You wouldn't see any Lydians buying their money bread with Hektes. You could be forgiven to think this coin was gold due to its yellowish hue and the high values I've just mentioned, but they are made out of an alloy of gold and silver called Electrum. This metal was common enough through the region and adopted first by private merchants, but then coined by the state as a monopoly. Curiously, the Electrum found in the region was actually of very good quality, going upwards to 70, 80, or even 90% pure gold. Yet, these coins only possess between 45 and 55% gold in them, being the rest silver and some traces of copper. This was made for a series of reasons. First, as with most ancient states, as a source of revenue. By force, the coins were tariffed above their intrinsic precious metal value, so anyone with Electrum in bullion shape would be encouraged to get it minted on coins. This minting process would result on you getting a slightly smaller amount of precious metal back, which the state would pocket. This is called seigniorage. Another reason had to do with the nature of gold itself. Pure gold is too soft for a coin that was meant to circulate, so it gets what it's called stabilized with the addition of harder metals such as silver and copper to withstand circulation a little bit better. And finally, it also had to do with the fact there wasn't enough Electrum for the economy to rely just on it. I said it was abundant on the region, but we're still talking about a precious metal, which is very rare. So this allowed for more coins to circulate and an actual economy based on coins to be able to function. The idea of a person specialized on producing coin dice probably didn't even exist back then. And I would make the argument that the very first coin dice were made by local goldsmiths. As we'll see, the designs chosen could very well be found on something you would find in contemporary jewelry, which is actually great news, meaning these early coins are highly artistic. For this video, we're looking at coins of the city of Cyzikus on modern-day Turkey. Being at a key position at the Sea of Marmara, it was a major outpost for the trade routes between the city-states of the Black Sea and the rest of the Greek world, being a very important city for the Greeks and the Romans throughout antiquity. So let's just jump into our first coin. Since all of these coins just present an incuse punch on the reverse, I'll focus just on the obverse. This example from between 500 and 450 BC features Cyzikus, the half-man, half-serpent creature, the legendary founder of Athens. Remember I was talking about Cyzikus, so what is an Athenian symbol doing here? Athens for a long time maintained a very friendly attitude toward Cyzikus, as they were major trade partners, and Athens depended on Cyzikus to obtain easy shipments of grain from the fertile cities of the Black Sea. This coin is one of the earliest depictions of diplomatic relations on a coin ever. Their relations were so close that an exchange rate of 1 hekte for one Athenian tetradrachma was established to facilitate trade between cities, even if the coins were made out of different metals and the cities used completely different monetary standards. We can also see Cyclops holding an olive branch, the gift of Athena to the city of Athens, and the tuna fish, very commonly found in the region and the symbol of Cyzikus, as fishing certainly represented a very major part of its economic activity and kept its citizens well fed. And we keep the trend of Hellenistic myths on our next coin. It is theorized that Cyzikus changed its coin designs yearly as a propagandistic move. This Hekte, from around the same time frame as the previous one, between 500 and 450 BC, but this time we see Orestes, son of the great Mycenaean king Agamemnon, commander of the Greeks in the Trojan War. We can see Orestes kneeling next to an omphalos, the sacred rock that marked the center of the world, holding a sword. We see the tuna fish once again below the image, as a reminder it was minted in Cyzikus. Well, so far we've seen two Hektes, so how about a hemi-Hekte? This is a much more famous Greek figure, as you guys will see. Instead of the fit and heroic previous figures, we see a very relaxed and maybe slightly out of shape Dionysus, god of wine, agriculture, and partying. We see this very relaxed Dionysus reclining right next to an amphora. The amphora were big clay containers ancient peoples would use to transport big quantities of liquids in it. Considering it's Dionysus we're talking about, this one must be full of wine, of course. He can be seen holding a kantharos, a cup used by the Greeks to drink. Almost like if he's offering us a drink, maybe he's like tempting us to spend the entire hemi-Hekte on wine. So now we jump a little bit further in time to between the years 450 and 350 BC, where this Hekte features Perseus, the great Greek hero before the birth of Hercules. He's depicted in this coin with his typical winged helmet, holding his sword, and raising the head of the defeated, decapitated Medusa. And finally, for our final piece of the day, we're looking at the history of Actaeon and Artemis. Actaeon was a Theban hero, a legendary hunter that, due to a tragic fate, ended up stumbling upon Artemis, the goddess of woods and forests, as she was bathing. As a punishment for seeing her naked, she transformed Actaeon on a stag, and the tragic hero was hunted down and killed by his own dogs. So on this coin we can see the head of the semi-transformed Actaeon, with horns slowly starting to come out of his head, while still retaining the face of a man. The mythological iconography on the Hektes is incredible, as well as the quality of the artistic depictions we see in such tiny little coins. And remember, we're talking about 2,500 years ago. If you could have a Hekte of a certain Greek mythological figure, which one would it be? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing ancient coins to YouTube. I hope you all stay safe, and see you all soon.